Hi guys, today we're going to do a quick unboxing of a Meraki MX68CW. First thing you want to do is make sure you find the power cord. It comes in this nice cloth bag. Sometimes it gets thrown away with the packing material. Just set that aside for now. I'm going to go ahead and open the box. Meraki packaging is very user friendly. So you can see here, it's very easy to open. The units themselves are also very user friendly. So the antennas, for example, in this model are already pre-attached. All you got to do is pull off this protective plastic, of course, and you're ready to go. We'll just set that aside for now. You pull up on this tab, and here's all the hardware you'll need to set it up. So you got your power supply, which of course goes with the power cord that you set aside earlier. You got some screws and drywall anchors to wall mount it if you want to. You got a couple Ethernet cables here, and you got your Meraki MX68CW instruction manual, which is just a very high-level overview of, for example, how to wall mount it, how to connect the power, just very, very basic setup. It's not meant to configure the actual unit. It's just if a remote user, if you ship this to them, they'll know at least the basics to get it powered on. So let's take another look at the unit here. So again, the antennas come pre-installed, ready to go. You can see on the bottom it has rubber feet on it, and there's the mounts for the wall if you want that. But here's the rubber feet already pre-installed. This is a smaller unit. It's made to sit on a desk, so that's of course why these feet are already on there. You got your power connector. You got Internet 1, Internet 2, so if you got a cable modem and maybe a cradle point or two diverse cable providers. And then you've got all your LAN connections here. And then you've got two LAN connections at the end here, 11 and 12, that are PoE enabled. So that's pretty nice. This is really great for a small office. Maybe you've got 20 or so employees, mostly on Wi-Fi. You could buy a Meraki access point, for example, and plug it into one of the 11 and 12 here. And you got your whole office in a box, basically, between this one unit and maybe an access point somewhere else in the office, back in the warehouse, for example. On the front here, you've just got a status light. So you can look in the instruction manual or look online to tell you what each color means, but it's just a very simple status light with white, green, red. It's pretty obvious what the different colors mean, but again, you can look that up online. Here you've got SIM. You can put the SIM card in here. So again, this is the CW model. So the C is for cellular and the W is for Wi-Fi or wireless. So in this case, you can put the cellular SIM card in here and use cellular for a backup connection if your cable modem goes down, for example, cable service. And then you can see here it's got a USB connector. So if you have an older style cell modem with a USB stick, you can plug it in here. So that's pretty much a quick overview of the unit. One thing to note, we covered this earlier, it's really, these smaller Meraki units are just meant to sit on a shelf or sit at a desk somewhere. As I mentioned earlier, you can wall mount them. But one thing to note is if you're putting it in a rack, make sure you got the shelf ahead of time, of course. The other option, there's a company called rackmount.it, which I have a demo unit over here. It doesn't fit the 68CW that I have, unfortunately, but check out rackmount's website, and you'll find custom rack mount kits for a lot of the smaller Meraki equipment that doesn't come with brackets. Just to highlight the point here, you obviously can't, there's no screw holes here to put any kind of ears on it to rack mount it. It's also very narrow, so it's another reason it can't be rack mounted. And of course you have these connectors on the side, so that makes it even harder. But with the custom rackmount.it kits, it's basically a custom shelf. So if you can imagine, it's going to sit on a shelf and it's going to screw into it typically using the wall mount screws here, it's going to hook onto the shelf and be nice and solid for you. And then it's got some other features, like it's usually going to mount backwards in the rack like this, and the rackmount.it takes that into account so that the ports are facing forward in the rack or the cabinet, so they're easily accessible and you can see the LEDs on them. One feature they have is you'll notice that the status light, which is normally on the front, if it's mounted backwards in the rack, you're obviously not going to be able to see that. rackmount.it took that into consideration, and there's a fiber optic cable that goes from this status light and loops around. If you can imagine, it loops around and displays here on the front, so you can see the status light while it's mounted. In a later video, I'll demonstrate this kit and show you how it actually works, but just again, keep in mind these smaller Meraki units out of the box, they can't be rack mounted. They gotta sit on a shelf or have one of these custom rackmount IT kits. Thanks.